Hey, welcome to the season finale of the Acting Like a Mom podcast. My name is Alicia, and yes, I said season finale. We are here. I know it was short and sweet, but it just made sense because not technically, this is the last episode that I shot while I was pregnant. So it only makes sense to end that as a season. It's almost like a show with a cliffhanger, like she had her baby. And then the next season, we see what happens with the baby. And then also next week is Christmas and the New Year. So, we might as well just start it off in the new year. So we'll be back end of January, early February for season 2. So be on the lookout for that. And now to get into the guest for today, Bianca Renee, aka Bianca Renee today. She calls herself a curl enthusiast, but I call her a content creator / influencer / mom / wife / she really is killing the game. She's been in the industry. She started making YouTube videos, I believe, in 2013. So for over a decade, she's been killing it, and she's consistent. That's one thing about this girl. She is consistent. I remember watching videos of her when she first started making them in her bathroom, and she had the shower curtain, and I was like, oh, I got that same shower curtain. And now to see the growth that she has a home, she has her car, she's able to do this full time is truly inspiring. And she was doing it before it was even, coined a influencer / content creator, and all those words are even thrown around. So it's really, really awesome to see what she's accomplished so far. She has over 600,000 curl friends. She has over 76 million views. 76 million views. So if that doesn't tell you something, the people are watching Bianca. She has been featured in many campaigns, including Ulta, but recently she was on the billboards in Times Square in New York. You can watch all her videos. She went and her family came with her. She met up with some of her curl friends, and that's what I'm talking about, community. She's always thinking about the curl community. She has built a brand working with big companies like Huggies, Sally Hair, Virgin, Cruise and Hotel, and so much more. I actually met Bianca at E3. It's like this gaming electronic convention that happens. I was working Just Dance, the video game company that I've been working for years. And ironically, she also met her husband there. She also has a family brand called R&B Fam. Her husband's name is Royce and her name is Bianca. So it's R&B Fam. I'm a sucker for a good acronym. On that, she shares a whole bunch of mommy content for you to check out. So she has her makeup, beauty, hair brand, but she also has her family brand, and she has figured out how to merge it. I'm not going to say it's easy. She talks about how she kind of manages it all and what it looks like. But one thing that I do love about Bianca is that she is raw and real. If there's a curly hair product, I will wait for her review because I know she will tell the truth. And that is what I appreciate. She truly has built a strong curl community. She even just went on a curl friend trip this year, and she went last year, so I'm assuming she'll go next year. So if you are interested, keep a lookout because I'm sure she'll have another one next year. She's done so much, and I'm just really excited to see what she does next. So with that, let's get to it. Bianca Renee. Hey. Welcome to the Acting Like a Mom podcast. I am Alicia, your host, and we are here to shine a spotlight on the incredible and often untold stories of mothers navigating the fast-paced world of the entertainment industry. Let's get to it.
Mama.
Hey there, what's up? My name is Alicia, and this is the Acting Like a Mom podcast, and I'm super excited because if you're a curly girl, this girl, I'm gonna let her introduce herself. So if you could do a slate first, your name, where you're from, and your most proud work accomplishment.
My name is Bianca Renee from Bianca Renee Today on YouTube. I'm a curly hair enthusiast, I like to say. Born and raised in LA, not leaving anytime soon, probably ever. And my biggest accomplishment was probably when I did a really big campaign with Ulta Beauty where I got to do in-store signage. So I got to walk in the store and see my face on the wall. And I was like, oh, I did cry. My family came. It was a big moment. So that was really cool for me wanting to get into modeling and stuff, and then having to audition, not being tall enough, not being this, not being that. And then once I picked my own lane, I got a print campaign without going the typical route.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like that's the thing, of having faith of everything, because it's you didn't take the typical route. You were drilling one way so hard, oh, I got to be a model and I'm going to be my agent. I'm going to audition. And it's
headshots over
yes,
headshots. Yeah.
Lots of photos.
And I also wasn't just a girl with curly hair. I was up there as me. So it wasn't just a model, it was Bianca. So I'm that's even cooler.
Girl, I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah.
This is like, no, that's not Curly Girl. That's Bianca.
Yeah.
Side note, you're from here. I didn't know
Yes.
that. Side note, I know Bianca from like, I don't know. Like,
from Just Dance
E3,
at E3, which is
like-
also where I met my husband.
Really?
So E3 is a very like powerful place for me, and it's actually ending. Did you know that they're not doing it anymore?
they canceled it. Oh yeah, they
yeah.
canceled it. It's crazy after COVID, right?
I think
'Cause
so.
I think it was COVID was the kickoff of like the cancellation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. That's where I met Bianca. No kids,
Yeah. Crop tops.
crop tops, dancing around. It was totally a time.
Yeah.
So that was super exciting. Just want to throw that in there.
We always bond over curls.
I know. I feel like it's crazy to see just how far you've come, because I feel like it's been over a decade, right?
Yes, 11 years now.
And that's like something to be so proud about and everything. So I guess when did you want kids right away? Like how did that like go in there? Because I feel like as an influencer, like I don't know, you're everything is self-motivated. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like a big transition from one to the other. So did you want kids? What was the plan?
I always knew I wanted kids, and especially my husband. I feel like a lot of couples, it's always trying to get the guy on board to want to, but for my husband, like, he wanted to be a dad more than anything. So like there took zero convincing there. Like, he was ready to be a father. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of push from our parents, like, you know, all of a sudden they just want babies all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But we were married for a solid 2 years. We wanted to have, like, you know, a little bit of us time. And then after 2 years, like, what was the moment where we're like, okay, we should start trying? And then fortunately I was able to get pregnant pretty quickly. I think like
the first time.
First or second? I think second time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I also, it's so bad. Like, I didn't really understand like ovulation cycles, and like you really can't
get pregnant. That's I was like,
why
how
taught that in school?
How I feel like because they wanted you to not
Yeah,
have
I guess
sex,
so.
because I was just like, I have lived my life. Well, I don't want to say
I was going around. Okay.
right. Like, I'm just like, I always thought like, if you get pregnant, if you have sex, you will get pregnant and die.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
In the words of Mean Girls, like, I was just like, you know, you try so hard to not get pregnant, and I had no idea.
It's like small window.
It's
very
a
small window.
3-day, like 3 to 5 day window that
Yeah.
you could possibly get pregnant. And
Yeah.
I'm just like mind blown that didn't know till I was trying to get pregnant.
Yeah, that's so bad that we don't understand how our bodies work until it's time.
Until it's time.
It could
And
like also create a lot of less stress during those non-times, but
because think about how many times you probably said, like, please, if you don't make me pregnant, I promise you I'll never, you know, like, I'll never do it again. I promise, please just don't get me pregnant. And it's just like horrible and so cringy, because it also makes me think of, like, I think it was, there was a movie, and the adults, whatever, were arguing, but she was like, but I'm ovulating, like, we have to do it now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, like,
yeah.
that's crazy. So
So by the
worked.
second ovulation cycle, it worked. And then I know, like, me and my siblings, I have 2 younger siblings. We're 3 years apart, and we felt like 2-ish was like a good spot.
3
So-
each.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So my first and second are 2.5 years apart. So I'm like, okay, now for the next one, I'm like, oh, I gotta run out of time for the next one. I was like, damn, that came quick.
It came so quick. That's why I was like, you have this plan in your head. How far apart in age?
So my oldest one is 4, and then my youngest one is turning 2 in July.
They're so cute.
Thank
They're
you.
so cute. Wait, so did you have 2 under 2?
No,
Okay,
technically,
but
no.
you were like right there.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
basically the same. Because I'm
Yeah.
about to be 2 under 2, and I feel like how?
It's a lot of diapers.
That's because like how? What? Like what do you? How? What? Like how do you do it? Like, was there a big difference from the transition from, you know, like 1 kid? Was it a big jump from that versus going to 2 kids, or by 2 kids you're like, I got this?
I feel like you're a little bit more confident because you have a better idea of what's going to happen versus like the first kid, like you're just, what's this going to be like? I used to be a babysitter, so I've always been like good with kids, and I could change a diaper. My husband, like, he doesn't even hold other people's babies, so he didn't really hold a baby until his own. He's never changed a diaper until his own. Where like maybe it's a girl thing where like we've probably changed a diaper before.
Yeah. I'm sure I changed somebody's diaper.
Yeah. But that was like very brand new to him, and he even experienced like a male version of like a postpartum depression, even like more than I did. So like it does affect your partner in different ways that you might realize. So there was like a lot of learning experience for the both of us.
For the first one.
Yeah, for the first one, yeah. And then by the second one, he's also like, I've been lucky to have like really chill babies. I haven't had anything too crazy. They call the first one like what do they call it? Where it's just like I'm blanking on the word, but like everything is fine. Oh, the gotcha baby. It's like, oh, everything's great, gotcha. Then you have baby number 2, and then like they're not like the first. Technically, he's also just as chill, but my second one, like he's almost 2 and he's not walking yet. And they say like they need to be walking by 18 months. And now he's technically 20 months. And like now I'm going to therapy for that. And like he doesn't want to eat solid food, so he's only on like pouches. He loves his squeezies. Like the pouches. He's addicted. Pouches and these little Gerber crackers.
Oh, okay. I know, check them out.
And yeah, and that's all he'll eat. So that he had an occupational appointment yesterday.
Really?
So it's like he's an easy baby, but like the normal things that were just normal for my first are not normal for him. So
interesting. Yeah. I think about that too, because I'm just like, I feel like my kid now is a genius. Now,
yes.
You know, like I'm just like, he knows how to count. Yep. He knows his color, you know, and I want to remind myself, and he, you know, he's a baby, sure, whatever, you know, he's smart. But I want to remind myself that the second kid might not be the same.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, what makes me, I don't know, have to, I don't even know, but I have to remind myself that
not to compare.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, don't compare. If she decides she doesn't want to walk, because I also feel like these, like, there's so many milestones.
Yeah.
And there's so many expectations of kids. And it's like, in the end, no one is going to look, you know, when they go to college and be like, when did you start walking?
Yeah.
You know
no
what
one
I'm
cares.
saying? Like,
you're always eventually going to walk.
Yeah.
There's no grown-ups crawling still.
Exactly. I'm just like, it's not, and it puts the pressure of, I don't know, on parents in general, I think, to just kind of.
And even at all his appointments, like, okay, his feet are straight. There's nothing like abnormal there. He just doesn't want to. And then like, feel like, oh, he's chewing fine. Oh, that's strange. And like, that's all she had to say. Like,
Yeah, that was it.
Like, okay, cool. So I feel like he's just.
It's a decision.
I'm a Taurus, you know. I like to do what I want to. He's a Leo, so I'm like, maybe it's Leo energy.
Yes, that could be it. That could be it.
Like, I'm gonna walk when I want.
I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Kids really are like on their own agenda.
And even with the first, I'm sure you saw, like, once they do start walking and you like want them to walk, you want them to crawl, you're like, what have I done? Why did I want you to be able to be mobile? Now I gotta like run after you. So I'm like, okay, we're not gonna rush you for the second one. But now we like, maybe we're too chill.
Like, maybe we should have found a medium.
Yeah, I think we held off too long.
Because I definitely feel like that for the first one. It's like, oh, that's so cute. I can't wait till he crawls. I can't wait till he does this. And then now I'm like, I mean, I could have waited. And that's why I even say now, like, because his words are kind of, you know, mush, but he's like getting words. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till he could talk and tell me full sentences. I'm like, no, Alicia.
And then they talk back.
Yes. I'm like, you could wait, girl. Just enjoy this little, he's putting words together and trying to figure it out. So
they always learn no very quickly. A little while, he'll be like, no. And he gives you like a face like, no, I don't want that. Like, you idiot.
With such like, duh, you know I don't want this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So 2 kids, you feel like it's a little bit, and you're not as much like pressure and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, so far everything's been good. My favorite thing is seeing him now get older so that they're kind of playing together. So like when they can like fully entertain themselves, and I don't have to be, you know, Spider-Man, and he could be Spider-Man, you could be the bad guy.
The entertainment, exactly. Definitely.
So they'll like he's on his knees, but he's very fast on his knees. But they will like chase each other. So like when they're just like giggling, it's like it's so cute to like see that bond form. So like that's like my new favorite thing.
Yeah, definitely, because I feel like, I don't know, that's what I think right now. It's going to be a crazy time as far as like having kids so close in age, but like in the long run, it's like they're going to be like best friends, and they're going to have these like great memories, and all these things are going to happen.
Yeah, because they're going to be 1 year apart.
Mine?
Yeah.
A year and a half. Literally 18 months. He'll be 18 months. 18 months on the dot. Yeah. So that's pretty great. As you work for yourself, right? Like you're your own boss, which is like the pro, but like, how do you balance it? Like, how do you figure out when you're shooting? Cause you shoot from home, I'm assuming. Yeah. And your kids are at home. I mean, however that works out, like, do you have a schedule? Do you have days? Like, because even with me shooting this, I'm just like, It's so hard
Yeah.
to like balance that.
I feel like the word balance sounds very even, so I feel like I'm lying if I'm saying balance, but like I'm doing it. I'm not organized. I can like admit, like I do not have like, okay, this
Do you
is
have
this
a
is
planner?
yeah, but then you have to remember to put things in
In
the
it.
planner. No one tells you that. Like there's so many apps like, oh, you download this, like organize you. I'm like, yeah, but I still need to tell the app when I have the things, and I don't do that, which is bad. So like my brain
Because
is
your
just
brain.
holding so much information.
And not just for you, for your kids and
Oh.
for appointments for
Yes.
them. Like,
You have to know where that left sock is. It was like, okay, well, I saw it in the pantry. It wasn't supposed to be there.
yeah,
Like,
but I left
yeah.
it there, so it should still be
yeah,
there.
there's so much random information that we hold as moms. But I do try to film, like Monday's my film day. That
Okay.
was like a thing at first. And now my husband and I have just tried like this new thing where like I have the morning until like 3 or 4 because I need to film like when there's daylight.
Yeah.
And then he has like from 3 to bedtime.
Bedtime.
We still do morning school routine together, and we still do bedtime together because bedtime is the worst part of any day. I despise.
It's like it's that time again. It's
Loathe
that time
entirely.
again. Every day comes. Every day comes back.
Why?
Golly.
Yeah.
So much.
So that's how we've been splitting things lately, and I think that's been good because there's just so many times where all I have to do is literally push post, and I'm like caption distraction, distraction, or like I upload it and I need to put the caption. Like the actual task can take 10 minutes, but it takes hours to actually like, well, let me just not post it, and then I forget to tag or hashtag. So I don't want to like rush post and then I miss something.
You're so right. Like it's
So-
very like specific.
Yeah.
Like the things you have to incorporate in it. It's like you can't be like, yeah, okay, and then
Yeah.
like try and do multiple things.
Yeah. So there's been times where all I literally have to do is push post, but I'm not confident to push it yet. So I'll come back to it. And then like I'm changing a diaper, or I got to get you some milk or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just being able to have that like, this is me time. I need to just start going to my office and like closing the door.
Yeah.
Because if I'm like in the kitchen, oh, can you change the channel? I'll get up, change the channel. Like,
And then
oh, you spilled something. Then I like, it's so easy to get distracted.
It's so easy. I feel like it's almost impossible to not get distracted. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because it's like it pulls you apart and you're like doing something, but then I forget to come back. Like,
Yeah.
how do you come back?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just always just like, oh my gosh. Because I would imagine that I would just forget to post it. Like,
Yeah.
if I was like, I have to look back at that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is all in your head? You're just
Yeah.
holding this in your head?
I know. There's probably a better solution out there. Please leave a comment and email what I should do.
Taking all suggestions.
I feel like I know what I should do. It's just about actually implementing it. I do, do a lot of doom scrolling, but it's like we only have that us time after bedtime.
I know.
So like, what time did your baby go to sleep?
7.
Okay, yeah, we used to be 7. It was like 7:30. Now it's like 8.
We're like between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
7:15,
Yeah.
7:30,
Yeah.
whatever, something like that.
So then like our only free time was like 8. But then like I'm a night owl, so I could easily stay up till 2 a.m. But now I'm just like trying to do all the things. I'm like, do we watch a show and have like us
Do we
time?
have us
Yeah.
time?
Or do I clean the kitchen that's a mess? Or do I just sit and breathe?
it truly never ends.
Yeah. Do I
'Cause-
edit? Do I work? And then it's just, you never
So
know.
what do you do? I'm like, I need answers,
Yeah.
Bianca. I need answers.
If there's a deadline, I always have to prioritize work. But I'm trying to just like do all my filming on Monday.
Okay.
And then that's when I actually have to get dressed. I'm not doing my hair every day. People are like, oh my God, your hair is so perfect. No, it's perfect.
It's for on Monday.
Yeah, it's perfect on Monday when you see me online.
Yes.
If you notice in my story, I'm in a bun 90% of the time.
Yes. Yes.
So if I can just be like, get on my pretty content Monday, and then I could
Yeah.
be in a bun and edit the rest of the week. And now,
and as
yeah, because like even the other day, I'm like, okay, I need to film. Like, how can I just film as much content as possible? Like, I'm just gonna I'm in beauty, so I can film every part of my day. Okay, I woke up. This is how I'm about to take a shower. This is why you should wear a shower cap when you're in the shower. XYZ. Then I'm putting on makeup. This is the makeup I'm using. I wash my face. This is the skincare I'm doing. So I just filmed like every step. Like
that you're already
yeah. Like okay,
going
I'm
to
getting
be
dressed.
doing.
This is my Amazon outfit of the day. So like just filming my whole process, and now I have more content more than just getting ready for that one piece of content.
Yeah.
So it's like
takes
really
the pressure off.
yeah. So it's like milking all the time you have for as much as you can.
So do you not record at all the other days?
Not if I don't have to.
Wow, I love that. Monday.
Yeah.
It's Monday, guys. Monday is the day. No.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, if I did every day, I could batch shoot for like the whole month.
Of course.
But like, I also just do like having just time with my kids, and I don't want to get dressed every day and do hair and makeup. So if I can make at least X amount of content for the week, then I'm done. That's the beauty of having my own schedule, is like I could, if I did spend like the whole week, like, okay, I'm gonna take this week of the month and edit this many videos a day, I could be done for the month if I really wanted to.
That'd be a rough,
not that disciplined.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, that'd be crazy. Because I mean, like, you still have like a husband, and I feel like even for me, like, I feel like we're there and we're on the same page, but I almost feel like, you know how they say like the roommate kind of stage, and I'm like, I don't think we are, but like, I don't know, we're just kind of like talking kids. Like, I feel like it's like all numbers. How many diapers did he change? Did he poop? Did he pee? How many ounces of milk? Like, it's all just like numbers of like, that's what we do. So it's just like how you said, even at night, what are we gonna do? Am I gonna hang out with him? Are we gonna watch a movie? And I feel like my brain just gets like, and I also can't tell if it's because I'm pregnant. I just feel like it's been a while of that. And I'm waiting to get out of the fog. Did you have a fog? Were you ever in the fog?
I think so. I think by like after bedtime has been like our us time, and our like guilty pleasure has been Love Island. Do you watch Love Island?
Which one? US?
I like UK. Okay, I watch all of them though.
I haven't watched any UKs. I think I've only watched the US.
I do think it's better, just so you know.
Everyone says that. How can it get better?
Because you learn all these words. And I literally have a note of like all like British UK like slang. I love it.
You're like, when am I going to use this?
Yeah. I love it. I use it all the time. But like, it's like I've never watched reality TV until COVID. And now it's just like my brainless TV. Because at the end of the day, after a whole day of being mommy, I don't even want to think about who the bad guy is in like a crime show, or like that's also like more negative. Like, this is just mindless fun. Yeah.
In between.
We can laugh at someone else's love life.
Yes. I feel like my husband, we started watching it together, and it's just interesting that
he actually admits to watching it, or is he the guy in the kitchen that doesn't want to watch? Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he would admit to it.
Does he sit down and watch it?
He sits down and watches it.
He watches it.
He is invested, because I feel like he'll be like, we sit there, we'll watch, and he pauses. He's like, what would you do?
Yeah.
You know, and he's like,
I love
who
that.
do you think? And that's why I feel like oddly these reality shows bring us to like talk about relationship
it's
stuff.
fun.
Which
we do
is
that too.
so bizarre. It's like, do you think she was wrong? Like, should she have said that to him? Like, did you watch Love is Blind?
Oh, yeah.
Girl, there was so much. I feel like we were like, and Clay's mom, you know, like she was great. And we were like, what do you think about her? It was just, so I guess like.
Well, that's true. It kind of makes like conversation starters within your own relationship, and you see how they would react in those situations. And you see people just like blow up. Fortunately, me and my husband, we're not yellers. We've never like had like a heated argument. Like we disagree, but like we really could just talk it out, and like we have never like raised our voice at each other.
That's beautiful.
So I'm just like, although he's an introvert, he's like the nerd, comic book nerd. That's why I was at E3. I mean, that's why I met him there. And then I'm like the extrovert, like I want to go out and da-da-da.
Yeah.
So we're very different in that aspect, but then our morals are what's like the same. And I feel like that's what like keeps us, that's like what's more important than like having the same, you know, favorite singer or something like that.
I agree. I think that's a really good point. In general, in relationships, I feel like people might get confused on like what,
like opposites.
Yeah, like what's important in relationships. It's like, oh, well, he doesn't like this like I do. And it's like, it's okay. Like when it comes down to it, like your core, your values, if that's the same, I feel like that's like a good partner. Like they don't have to actually like match you like that, because that's not fun. Why would you want to date yourself? I mean, I'm sure you're great, but like it's not as fun.
Especially when you're thinking about marriage, like and you want to have kids, how is this person going to be as a father? And he is like extremely present. It's very 50-50. Like he's not just like, I'm changing the diapers. Like we're both doing all the things at all the time. I think the biggest blessing is I'm not a morning person and he is. So he does morning shift.
Girl,
I don't see my kid till 8, but then he'll wake him up at like 5 or 6 sometimes.
I feel like that's what you need to look for in a spouse. Like, I just need, if you're like, you want to have kids, like, are you a morning or night person? Because we need to figure this out ASAP.
It might not work when you're dating because you're like, you want opposite things, but once you have kids, it's oh yeah, you could be in the morning.
You could totally see you at night. In the morning. Does that, because your husband, he's like a director and creator and everything. Do you think that that's helps you more than like if he wasn't, as far as like scheduling and like helping out and stuff like that? Because the schedules I feel like are the same, but then they also switch because you get random opportunities.
I wouldn't give it credit to like his career. I just think, I mean, scheduling wise, getting things done is still me, but he will help me get the things done. So I can let him know we need to do da 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 da, and then he'll make sure it happens. But he just as he is as a person, we both fortunately are really close with both of our parents. So he was just always raised in a position where like his dad was always present, and he just always just wants to be that as well. So he's just very helpful. And I like how my son also knows not to wake up mommy in the morning, and like he'll be like, Dad, can you come with me? Like, well, what about mommy? He's like, no, I want you. I'm like, that's right.
Good to your thing.
We'll hang out after bedtime.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah. That's awesome. I definitely feel like having a partner that wants to be a dad is like,
yeah.
Like I feel like when I have conversations with people sometimes, I'm like, no, like my husband loves being a dad. Like he wanted to be, I didn't know if I wanted kids at all for a while.
Really?
I did not. And he always knew he wanted a kid. That's why it sounds very similar to your husband, where he was just like, I want kids. And I was like, okay, all right, we'll see, you know, and you like date and all that stuff. So I feel like it's really great to have like just a partner that is, you know, doing a thing and having a schedule that works. I feel like that's really great that you guys are able to figure that out, because I feel like sometimes we have a schedule. I'm day, he's night.
Okay.
But like now that I'm pregnant, I'm like,
you're day and night. At least for this last month.
That's what I'm just like, how are we gonna I'm gonna have to do nothing.
Yeah. You know what? I thought about the schedule and we're changing it.
Yeah, I literally was just like, I think that it's time to change. Do you guys go through like different changes, or do you guys like stay pretty consistent? And
I think it really depends on what we need. Like even, you know, I just told you we do like the morning night thing, but like this week I have an event every day that's in the daytime. So like now it's like, okay, well, I'm giving you 3 days. So then I get 3 days next week or whatever. Or like he was out of town recently, or he also has a comic book. So he was at WonderCon, and that was like a 3-day event. So it's like pretty much me watching the kids for 3 days. He's like, well, I just took 3 days. So like you have 3 days. So it's very even. I can say like we never really let ourselves get to like where one person is feeling too much. Yeah. And if we do, we're able to communicate that and then balance it out. But we really share the time with the kids pretty evenly.
That's great. That's really good. You guys are both from California. Yeah. So your parents both live out here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So do they help, or like how does that work?
We are very dependent on our tribe. My parents are like 30 minutes away, and his parents just moved across the street. So
stop it.
So once we moved, they followed us, and people were like, "Oh, your in-laws."
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, they love being grandparents.
Oh yeah. It was like a year. The goal was, because we didn't do construction, we were going to build at the very same time. But then things took a little bit longer for them, so they came a year later. So they were there like last Christmas. But people were like, "Oh, your in-laws, like how's that?" I'm like, "No, it's amazing. My babysitters are across the street."
Love it. That girl, I'm like, these are the best babysitters ever.
Yeah. Or like I'm out of milk. I can try to go, or I could just go across the street. So like my neighbors probably see me walking like with a loaf of bread and like milk all the time.
Like sugar.
They're my favorite grocery store. The prices are great.
Prices are impeccable. 10 out of 10 service. Great. So they watch your kids. It's everything. I feel like, man, building having a tribe, a village, and all that, I feel like is 100%.
Yeah. And I give so much credit to people that most people's parents are in different states, you know? So like, even for me to move 30 minutes away from my mom, she's like, "Oh, you're so far." I'm like, "Mom, 30 minutes. Right. Most people leave the state." So, you know, we're still close. And my sister's also been like huge help. My son's named her Yaya. So Yaya is like the ultimate babysitter of all time. She's like arts and crafts. Like she does everything for him. She dressed up as the Easter Bunny on Easter. So she goes above and beyond for him. So
that's cute. That's really random. My sister's name is where we call her Yaya.
Oh,
Her name is Ayana. We call her like Yaya and Yana.
Well, her name is Sienna. So I don't know where Yaya came from.
I'm like, what's her name? It must be something saying.
Sienna.
Nana.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't it funny? I feel like
stretch.
You think of like the nicknames it's going to be, and it's like, nope, they're actually going to make them up. Because even like the nickname, like our son, his name is Harlow, and we're like, we'll call him Lo or Lolo, something like that. I don't know, but we call him Big Man. So his name is like Big Big, and he's like Big, and it's just
my
like,
gosh.
it's interesting to your kids.
Yeah, even the grandmas are Gaga and Giga. So Jalen stuck it, and now Kylo
has to
knows
learn it. That's so funny because
Yep.
yeah, it's like the first kid names the family. I
Yep.
guess you could say. I'm like they're like in charge of
Yep.
naming and the nicknames and stuff like that.
My brother, he raps, so he always did this little like beatbox to make the kids smile, and it was always like boom, boom. And so now he's Uncle Boom Boom.
So good.
So yeah, Uncle Boom Boom, Yaya, Giga, Gaga. We have Pop Pop, Granddad. Granddad is probably the most normal, and Pop Pop is kind of common, but everyone else is pretty unique.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Giga, Goga, yeah. Beats. I love it. Boom, boom. I'm like, these are great names. So another thing I guess I'm interested in is because, you know, your family's so like personal and private and like deciding what to share and stuff. Do you feel pressure to like present your family or yourself in a certain way, or like, you know, does that ever, like when you're like, okay, this is, I don't know, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think that with like our kids content, because we did create a kids channel, so I have R&B
which is
fam.
so cute. Like I'm like, that name is just perfect.
So I was way better. I don't know why. I think when you're pregnant with your first kid, you think you could do everything, and then you have the kid, you're like, oh, I don't have time to film another second channel with a newborn. Like, what was I thinking? But I started off strong because I was giving a bunch of like mommy content and tips, my mommy must-haves, like what's in your hospital bag, like those kind of like evergreen content. That's done really well, and I've been wanting to do more of that on the page. But I also do like, there's so many family vlog channels, and you're like sharing everything. But I think what obviously is going to resonate with people, especially with moms, when you see other moms also like in a t-shirt with spills and you're in a bun, and yes, my kid wore that for 3 days because he didn't want to change his shirt. I think it's just more relatable than trying to be like the perfect family, because it's just not realistic.
It's not realistic. I feel like that's just so much pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that people totally like being like, okay, so
it's not just me.
Yeah, if they could be doing that, I could be doing that too. I definitely feel like, I don't know, like when to turn it on and off, because there's also like a part of you that, because I always think of like my son, because, you know, like sometimes I'll post him and I'm just like, I try not to post like embarrassing things of him, you know, like, because even that for me, I'm just like, because at first I was like, I'm not going to post him. But then when I got him, I was like, I can't. He's so cute. Everyone needs to see him. I was like, what? I can't.
I always laugh when I see the moms that do like the blurred out face, or like the
happy face, or this.
And then like eventually I'm like, you're going to want to show your kid.
It's literally that. Like, that's exactly what it was. It was like, you know, they put a happy face or something. Or like, it's almost like, you know, when you start dating someone and you show like the hand in the back, like a little voice in the background. It's like, I feel like that's what it is. And then like, now I'm just like, hi, go, you're on. But it's just, I mean, like,
eventually, like, I think that with like, you know, if I was Beyonce's kids, like there's some really crazy fandom people that might, you know, do some.
Correct.
I think like on my level, I'm like, I'm not, you know, Beyonce. Like, I don't think people are going to be coming after me. But like the internet is a really scary place, and there's so many weird things happening with kids. So it's like you want to protect them, but then you also just want to be normal and just like show happy moments. I don't know. Like, I don't really want to live my life in fear either. So I think I go more of just like, this is my family. If something starts to get weird, then I'll stop it.
Then you'll adjust.
Yeah, I'll adjust.
Yeah, I definitely.
But I don't think I try not to live my life like with the what ifs, because you could do the what ifs
until you're like blue in the face.
You just won't. You could just not leave the house.
Yeah, you cannot do anything at all.
Yeah,
because you get really scared with your kids. I definitely feel like it gets crazy. Because I mean, you even have to think about it. They live in a completely different world. Like. We lived in a world where there was no social media, like where we had like MySpace, and then Facebook, you couldn't get on until you were in college.
Yeah.
They're living a completely different life. And I'm like, even just with like the iPads and all of that stuff.
Yeah. How do you feel about screen time? Are you for it or against it?
I was definitely like anti screen time. Now
you want some free time.
Now Miss Rachel all day. Miss Rachel is the truth. Give that woman a raise.
Yeah, she's my favorite babysitter.
Pay her what she wants.
Yeah.
So especially right now.
Yeah.
Like today I was like, I'm going to turn, like, I think what I did was I put a time on it.
That's
as far
good.
as like, don't watch it. He's not going to watch anything until 10 a.m. Like no TV until 10 a.m. That's kind of like what I'm doing now. But I also feel like it's hard because when me and my husband aren't on the same page with that, because he's like, oh, he's eating, turn something on. I'm like, he's eating. He doesn't need to turn anything on. I'm like, so it's also, I feel like that's also the pro and the con of with a dad that's super involved, 50, 100, whatever you want to call it, is that learning how to let him parent how he wants to parent.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
a good point.
think that's something that I'm working on too.
I mean, did you grow up watching a lot of TV, morning cartoons or anything like that?
Only on like Saturday.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like maybe that has. Did you watch a lot of TV?
I didn't, not because I wasn't allowed to. I just would rather play. But I feel like TVs were just always on in my household, especially for my sister. So like when she babysits, like she'll have it on like while he's eating. I'm the same. Like while he's eating, like wait till he needs it or like says TV because he could say that now.
Yeah.
But even like with iPads, there's so many like learning games. So like my youngest, it's 20 months, he's like putting like green circle, blue triangle, and he's zipping through this iPad like, oh, the cup goes in the kitchen and the rubber ducky goes in the bathtub. Like he's doing all this sorting. I'm like, I can't really mad at it.
Yeah. and that's what I'm trying to teach myself too. I'm like, he could be on the iPad if it's educational. And I feel like that makes a difference because I feel like honestly, I don't know who taught him the ABCs. Me or Miss Rachel. Like I'm just like I don't know because he has that thing like memorized. Like sometimes when I watch it with him, he's like says the words before she does. Yes. Like so I'm just I'm on the fence. Yeah. I'm
anything in moderation.
Anything in moderation works for me at this point. So I definitely feel like I don't know. I'm just curious to see like the long-term effects of it. Like we don't know.
But also it's going to be a different long-term effect in their future that's going to be all tech. Everything we have is tech, internet, social media, coding. That wasn't as important of our world. Yeah. And it's going to be very important with them. So it's we could learn cursive with our pencil, but like they're not going to be using pencils in their adulthood.
Yeah, that's so true.
So I'm like, you might as well master the iPad now because the iPad 90 is going to be what you use at work.
Girl, it's going to be like the iPad 200. Yeah. Like, what? They're going to have so many. Yeah. Because even hearing you say, like, you know, your son can move it. I was like, my son probably couldn't. I mean, if he did, because he's never...
I mean, they pick it up very quickly.
Right. That's what I was like. I was like, you know what? That's a good point because, like, he knows it goes in the kitchen. I'm like... I don't know how my son would do. That's so interesting.
And I feel like he's learned it really quickly. Like at first he was getting frustrated because he's just trying to do this. I'm like, get the tap and then move. But then by like the next day, he was like, now he's like tap, move. And
they're sponges.
He's moving. Yeah.
They're sponges. Everything that you do and everything, they watch you.
Yeah. Even like your mannerisms or like how I say things or like little words, like he'll say it. I'm just like, that is me.
Yeah,
like
that's
you got that
me.
from me.
And it's like, it's kind of cute, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like seeing it in a little human.
Yeah. And for you to have a boy and a girl, that's going to be so fun.
I'm so excited, but I'm also like nervous because I hear, you know, that the girls are pretty sassy.
I know. I feel like I want a little girl, but I don't want a teenage girl. So I don't know how to gift that.
That's exactly it. I'm like, it's the dresses, teenage girl. I'm like, the girl that starts like PMSing and you know, like having her emotions. I'm like, oh, both. Are we going to sync up? Like, are we going to be on the same time? Like, what is this going to be like? Definitely. So wait, are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Stop it.
It's funny. Like I told you, my husband was always like the very pro kids now. And now that we have two, he's like, I mean, I'm kind of good. I'm like, we can't stop now. I wasn't mentally like when I was pregnant with two, I wasn't like, this is my last.
Right.
So like, if I'm going to be done, I have to be like, this is the last time I'm going to be pregnant. Like take that in. But yeah, I've always said I wanted an even number for Disneyland because
I can't deal with you.
So it's like 2 or 4.
Stop it.
So I'm like, if I do 2, then I got to go to 4. But like now I'm like, 3 might be okay.
We might be able to figure it out because you have to think. I mean, 4 is like a different car. Like after 3 kids, you're in a different car. Like I always think that I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
after 3, you're in a whole
Yeah.
different ballpark.
I mean, we've already committed to the big car. I'm like, I want this many seats, even with like a trunk.
Even
you know?
with it, yeah, the third row.
Yes.
We just got our cars,
Yep.
our bigger cars, and it was like, I guess we need a third row. I guess like I'm like, so I got a 2-row, he got a 3-row, and
Yeah.
but the size is like
Car seats, strollers. It's a lot.
it's a whole lot.
I think like I try to think if I had a girl the second time, then like okay, I got one of each. Like maybe I'd be done, but now it's just always like, let's see what happens. But I told myself like we do want a girl, but I'm like I can't get pregnant until I'm like actually mentally okay with having 3 boys. I'm like, at first that sounded like a lot, but like I love my boys so much.
Yeah.
Like obviously like when you're pregnant you might think that you want something, and then I believe that like God gives you what you actually need. So now I have my boys, I'm like I can't, like, would I trade my boys for a girl? Absolutely
no.
And boys love their mommies, which I'm probably you see.
I know.
So I'm just like, I'm down for more of this love, and like if I had 3 boys, I'm like it'd be great. It's hard to think about. You have one baby boy. He looks like this. Another boy. Does he not look like this?
Yeah.
Like what does he look like?
Who is this?
Like how does he act? So now that he's getting to an age where he's kind of showing more of his personality, it's going to be so fun to see how they are as different people.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, no, like even if it was 3 boys, I'm like that would be awesome. But mentally I'm not done.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone kind of wants that like 1 and 1, or like the boy and girl in most cases, but it's also just like it's always gonna be 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just because you had a boy doesn't mean the probability is gonna go up that
Yeah.
you're gonna get a girl, and it's
Yeah.
just so you have to be
Yeah.
aware that you might have like a whole trove of boys.
Yeah. My husband's uncle, I think they have 7 kids, and they had like 5 boys. So they adopted a girl, and then after they adopted a girl, they had a girl, and they had another boy.
No way.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not going to 7 to get
What
a girl.
car did they have?
And when we do family vacations, it's like a Sprinter.
I was
van.
about to say a Sprinter.
Yep.
That's the only thing.
Yep, or a limo party bus.
I just saw a limo the other day, and I was like, limos used to be like a thing.
I know.
Like,
I think I'm the only one that still loves them. My husband's like, no one does limos. I'm like, I love limos. I'm the first to try to get a party bus or something.
yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, limos used to be it, like prom. Like,
Yeah.
do kids still do that?
I don't know. It's like Escalades, like just black cars, Uber
yeah,
black.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You're right.
I'm always down to get a limo to this day.
I feel like it's like, Mom, not another limo.
I wish they would be, man.
They're cool. I promise. Look at us.
Yeah.
We're doing it, kids. That's fun. I feel like, yeah, that's great. I love a limo. But going back to working really quick, because I did want to ask this. Do you ever get like mom guilt?
Yeah.
Like working wise, like and how do you deal with that? Like, do you stop? Do you take a break, or do you just like keep going until like, these deadlines and
Yeah. I think I do have like a nice balance. I think I get more of the guilt when it comes to like who I'm asking to like babysit. I get more almost like, oh, like she's watching again and again and again, or like I do have like a lot of trips coming up this year because I told myself I'm getting all my vacations out before I get pregnant again.
Oh yes.
So I'm cramming all the things
like,
in this
yes,
year.
I'm going. Do you want to go? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So I'm like doing all the things while I can before I'm like locked down again. So I feel like I get the guilt like that I'm having someone else watch my kid too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know how much time we do spend with them, and I don't think they could ever really say that like we're not present. Yeah. And that's with me and my husband. So because they always have one of us, it's like they absolutely know that they're loved. Like there's zero question. There shouldn't be any like
there's no confusion.
Mom's not here again. And luckily he loves my sister so much. He loves family, my oldest one. So it's never like, it'd be different if I called and they were like, Mom, when you coming back? I'm at grandma's house. Like, but they're less like, what do you want? I'm like, they're giving me chocolate cake for dinner, so I gotta go. I'm like, I'm sure they are.
I'm busy. I know. Gosh, I know. And they do, even your parents and your sister, when they watch them, they do stuff. And
all the rules go out the
window. Rules. And I'm like, I feel like that's what I'm learning now too, because we recently just moved closer to my parents. Nice. So they help more, that's great. But also I feel like when they do stuff that I don't do, I'm like, okay.
You don't reprimand your parents.
Like the bedtimes.
Bedtimes
like,
don't matter.
Yes, the nap time.
Candy.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, Royce's dad was giving our firstborn Pepsi at like 2. I'm like, we're not doing Pepsi at 2.
You're right. There's the hard nose,
Yeah.
and that's a no to the Pepsi.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then one time, I think I saw, he was like, please, Giga. I was like, oh, that's why. And she was like, oh, well, can I please give him some more candy?
Stop it.
So I'm like, they know how to milk everyone else.
Right.
So because like if I'm out of town and I can call, I'm literally like bugging them. It's just like we're doing arts and crafts. Like they get so much attention.
Yeah.
It'd be different if there was like, Mom, why are you gone again? Da, da, da. But it's literally like knowing that they're happy just like brings me peace. So then I can actually enjoy myself. So that does help.
A blessing to have your parents like in your family close. I say that as well. Like you were saying earlier, a lot of people have to, when they go home for help, they have to go to another state. And I'm like, this is a blessing. Because at first I felt like moving closer to my parents, I was like, oh, I'm giving up. You know, like I'm going back home. And it was like this dramatic thing. And I was just like, you know, we left because we needed the space, or we moved, you know, outside of LA because we needed the space. But I feel like I had to readjust how I was thinking and realize like, this is a blessing. Like, you can still do it. It might be a little harder, but you could still do it. You didn't have to leave the state. You could still do it. It's just a little bit harder. And I definitely feel like, even like how you said, asking people is kind of like the hardest part, because when we were out here, we were asking friends for help. And I feel like that was like
probably even harder. It's like family, like you kind of have to help. It was like
right.
friends, you
like,
gotta do this.
You know you're gonna help me, Mom. Like some way.
You want
like,
a grandbaby.
Yeah, I'm like, you love him? Do you love him?
Yeah.
But with friends, it's kind of like, but it's necessary. Like if you have kids and
you need a mental break.
Like, I don't think I could have ever imagined how much I would need a break and how much a couple hours would give me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when like I had friends who would meet me at auditions, I feel like, and they would like watch him, and I was like, I don't know, it's just like,
it's hard to ask.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like because things change a lot last minute, you know, like, so it's also like, hey, can you watch him tomorrow at 4? Maybe, possibly, I'll let you know. Yeah. I might be able to, you know, like,
that was me trying to get here. That was so bad. I'm like, sorry, actually, can we do this?
That's why when you said 4, I was like, let me see who I could text. So I text like 2 other people, and I was like, hey girl, you know, like, it's just like, I have a friend out here, and I was like, okay, well, what if I drive him over here? But I'm like, do I want to drive him over here? But luckily, my husband ended up having like a call back for work, so the timing worked out, and he went in the morning, and now he's with him. Yeah. So all of that. But then I also feel like I wasted an ask, because I ended up like canceling on her, because of course I'd rather him be at home with my husband. But I also feel like, my bad girl. Yeah. You know, I feel like I shouldn't have asked, but whatever. I mean,
I think even when you're pregnant, like, you also don't want to ask. Like, everything is so hard. So it's like, can you just pick that off the floor, please? Like, you could go get it, but it would take a lot of effort. I'm like, can you actually give me some water?
Yeah. It's a lot easier for you. I promise you. Like, the way this breath is going, I can't. I don't have the same energy. And I definitely feel like that my first pregnancy, I felt like I had a lot more. I feel like because we had babies so close, we both feel like we just did this. Yeah. And I feel like the first time he was like massaging me, and we had all this time, and I'm like, where is my foot massage? Like, this is not the same. Yeah. Because I don't know. It wasn't the same. And also because we have a kid. Like,
so now he's taking care of him instead of massaging your feet.
Yes. Yes. He's taking care of the child instead of my feet. Yeah. And that's hard.
Now I get less massages.
Yeah, I'm like, gosh, that was such a time. Yeah. You know.
I think the main thing I've realized is like not realizing how much free time we had before kids. I'm like, what was I doing? Like, if I like just thinking, like, knowing how much we get done during a single nap time, I'm like, I cram my whole day within this 2
hours.
Nap. Yeah.
Within 2 hours.
I'm like, before I had 24/7 every day of free time.
It didn't matter.
I'm like, why wasn't I filming every day and did this, and like I could have been posting every day.
What the things you could, it's like I could have been astronomically successful. I would have like
even like traveling, like we could have just booked and then left. And not like who's gonna watch and who's gonna pick up from school and who's gonna make the lunch and like
girl, like I feel like, and it's not even to be like negative, but like any of my friends that are like single or whatever, don't have kids, I'm like, girl, like
I know,
go
be free.
Yeah, be free, like run. Like you don't realize the responsibility of just like you said, like traveling, and you have a whole bunch, you were just like on a Sally's like world tour or something.
2 states close to world tour.
2 states world tour, same difference, right? You were just and I'm just like, you have to, I don't know, you can't just leave. I feel like,
do a lot of your friends have kids?
No.
Yeah, none of my friends have kids. I finally have a friend that's currently pregnant, so we're getting there. But so I'm like, I feel like you have to have mom friends that you can vent to, because that's what, like, I don't want to say all this stuff and it's like, oh no, I don't want to have kids. But if you tell a mom like that you're exhausted, she's like, oh, well, obviously, like it's a different conversation.
And I feel like that was my whole thing. Even just like with this podcast, I was like, I wanted to start it because I was just like, people need to know what's going on, and especially in this industry, no one really talks about kids because no one's really having kids, and it's like
everyone's dog moms.
Yeah, everyone's dog moms. Like they love their dogs. They got the stroller. They're doing their thing. Which much love to you. And then wait, side note: does people always tell you like when you tell them about your kid, you're like, and they tell you, oh yeah, it's just like my dog. And
girl, it's not the same. I don't want to hear it.
I keep saying. And I feel like I have to respect that.
I don't.
Because
I've given up. I give my friends so much mess when they talk about their dogs and they leave parties early to go for his 6 o'clock snack. I'm like, he's on a sleeping schedule? Well, his nap is at 3. So I'm like, my dogs just had a bowl of food and they would feed themselves.
Man, I'm just like, it can't be the same. There's no way. I'm sure it's a lot, but there's just no way this is the same.
It's not.
Yeah, so yeah.
You're nicer than I am. I'm done.
I feel like I'm going to ask somebody who is close with their dog who has a kid. That's the only people that are going to know. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't trust, because I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. Like maybe there's just something that's...
But at the end of the day, you are taking care of something. If you have a dog before you have kids, it's going to be your first maybe share thing with you and your partner.
Yeah.
But...
yeah.
It's not.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. It's just not. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not the same. Trust me.
But like you said, you don't want to seem like you're like complaining all the time. But like, if I said that to you, it's just like, oh, it's normal. Where it might be like, oh, she complains that her son does this and does that. But it's just like, well, no, like he drives me crazy, but I still love him.
I love him. It's like there's two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like with kids. I'm like, I can't tell people who don't have kids, like I'm literally about to like lose my mind, and I feel, and sometimes I'm like depressed, and sometimes I'm this, and I'm like, and I lose my voice, and I'm like, I'm with this kid all day, like what am I doing? You know, I can't tell them that because it sounds horrible. So that's the one truth, and the other is I couldn't explain to you how much I love him because there's no words that also explain that. Like,
and I have friends that are like, well, like the ones that are on the fence even by having kids, like, well, I mean, I'm gonna have your kids, and like my sisters will have kids, and like she really thinks it's gonna be the same, and like, well, I'm like, well, you're gonna want your own family. Like, well, I have family because I'm like, it's not exactly the same. It's like it's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain.
Like having kids is just like that undescribable type of love that's just. It's just different. It's a different type of love.
Like I'm like
the definition of unconditional. That's the word I want.
Yeah, the definition of unconditional. I feel like he's like, I feel like when he was first born, I mean, still feel the same way. I would tell my husband, I would just look at him, I'm like, it hurts.
Yeah,
I love it so much. I was like, I feel like I can't breathe. Like I was like, do you feel that way? And he was like, I mean, I love him, but like I just can't. And I'm like, and to me, the only way he truly takes my breath away. Like, you know, I feel like that's a cheesy phrase, but I'm like, no, like, I'm like, I love him. Yeah. I love my son. And it's just
then they tell you not to kiss them when they're babies.
I'm like, I was like, he's got everything I got. we in this,
we are
feeding.
one.
Yeah. I was like, if he could feed from my body, he's getting all this love. Absolutely. Toodalutely. So yeah. That's great. Yeah. Trips. Great. Oh, and you're going on a trip. Croatia. I just saw.
That'll be a long, far one. So Yeah,
If
I'm
you want
telling
to
you.
go to Croatia, guys, check out her page. She's got
Taking
the
all my
things around.
girlfriends.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm glad that you're doing that. I think that that's like a great way to almost kind of end the year because it's towards the end of the year, right?
Yeah, like from having those 2 Sally trips, that was Atlanta and DC, and then I'm going to Vegas for my birthday, and then we have a festival in Aruba, which is a family music
Oh,
festival.
you go every year.
Yeah. So
Summerfest? Is that
it's
what it's called?
Soul Beach.
Oh, Soul Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's in Aruba in May, and then I have, I think, Croatia. So I'm just like, I'm getting all my traveling in while I
This
can.
baby comes in. I love
And then
that.
I'll just be in the house.
Yes, girl. Number
Because
3.
asking someone to watch 3 kids for you on vacation is, it's a little,
And that's what worries me. I'm just like one kid. That's why we moved. Because I was
Yeah.
like, one kid, I feel like I can swing. Like, and be
Yeah.
like, can you watch my one child? But I even feel like having someone watch 2 childs
Yeah.
is like too much. So.
And even my oldest is in preschool now. So now when my sister comes to
Oh,
watch,
picks up.
she'll watch only the younger, but now he seems easy compared to a toddler.
Yeah.
So like what like right
They
now
chill.
he might feel like a lot, but then once he's like a toddler, you're like, oh, that was actually the easier part.
It's like these stages.
Yeah.
It's like, just like how we were saying earlier, how it's like, I can't wait till they get there.
Yeah.
You could wait, baby girl.
Yeah.
You could wait.
People always talk about the infant stage. With I think the firstborn, it's like you're just like, are they breathing? You're just checking, like you're just so scared about their
Life. Life.
like just always okay, he's breathing.
Yeah.
So that's nerve wracking, but it's just like they just sit there, they can't even move. So it's just like, oh, now they can move, but it's like limited movement. But yeah, I would take the newborn stage, I think, over the top. I think that year 1 to 2 is the best.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
where we both are right now. Like
Okay.
enjoy this
Yeah.
moment because I think it's like
Yeah,
they're
I
just doing
agree,
enough
actually.
talking. They're like yours is walking.
Yeah.
Mine should be walking, but he's not. So it's just like,
But he
very
is.
controlled.
He's moving. He's moving fast.
Yeah, but then like, this is my favorite age. Like they're big enough, they're not too fragile at this
Yeah.
point. So I
fall.
love 1 to 2.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. That's what me and my husband said. We're like, I like this age right
Yeah.
now. So, yeah, this is a great time. Awesome. Great. Well, I mean, I guess that's everything. Yay! We did it!
2 moms made a plan and got to meet
Yay!
up.
I know it. And we got out of the group chat.
Yes.
Awesome. Great.
Well, thank you for having
Yay.
me.
Of course. Thank you for coming, girl. I appreciate this. Thank you so much for listening. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here with me. If you liked what you heard, put a ding on it. Don't forget to rate and review. And remember, motherhood is the best hood.